All right, what's up, people? Roland Martin here. I hope all is well with you where you are. Today is Monday, February 5th, 2018. Of course, this is the Roland Martin Unfiltered Podcast live stream. So, you know, I live stream, my podcast, but also we've been doing this live stream. And so, a lot of things been going on. I've been traveling like crazy. First of all, let me thank everybody, of course, who caught me yesterday on ABC This Week. We had a fabulous time on the show. Thank you so much for live streaming, for tweeting the information out. It was groovy. And new hashtag try it. You know, Anthony Scaramucci, try to come out with a brother. Never a wise thing, Scaramucci. Never. Everybody else call you the mooch. That's high school. I don't deal with high school. That's the kind of stuff that, again, that's in high school. But I just don't waste my time with high school. I just don't. So, all right, let's get right to it. So I want to thank everybody for doing that, for checking us out. Also, Georgia State, I will be on your campus tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Got a fantastic message waiting on y'all, so it's going to be phenomenal. So, movie Black Panther is coming out. Everybody's talking about Black Panther. It may very well open to $150 million is opening weekend, President's Weekend. But what are the parallels? I mean, although you have this fictional movie, Reverend Dr. Otis Moss III of Trinity, United Church of Christ out of Chicago, he says that we need to consider, again, the parallels between the fictional movie Black Panther and actually real life superheroes who are of African descent. And so earlier, I chatted with him via Skype. Here is our conversation. Reverend Otis Moss III. So let's talk about Black Panther. And so,
yes, sir.
Everybody's talking about Black Panther. Everybody's talking about it. Folks are excited. They are projecting it could generate anywhere from $100 to $140 million opening weekend. It will no doubt, if that's the case, it will be the largest opening for, if you want to call this a black film, if you will. But so explain from your perspective the parallels between Black Panther, fictional movie, and real life.
Oh, absolutely. Well, first thing is that it is an expansion of the Black imagination. They do a beautiful job of, again, expanding how we view ourselves. But the beauty of the Black Panther is it takes the lid off of particular limitations in terms of what we can be as Black people. Here you have a main character who is not bound by this kind of traditional tropes of racism and coming from a country that has not been colonized. So, how do we make that parallel? Well, let's begin to talk about Ethiopia, a country that has not been colonized, a country that has an array of history and heroes that come out of that particular country, whether you're talking about Menelik II, or if you want to go back and talk about Queen Kandake, who was the one in biblical times, is the one who is leading the country and is the holder of the most precious metal in the ancient world, that being gold, which you could then make the connection between vibranium within the Black Panther movie, because the Black Panther holds the most precious resource of the modern world. And then you have a character that is royalty, but not only royalty, but incredibly intelligent, one of the most intelligent people in the Marvel universe, and an incredible strategist, a part of this royal family. And so in the ancient times, ancient African history, whether you're talking about Akhenaten, Nefertiti, or you're talking about Queen Kandake, or you're speaking about someone such as Mansa Musa, we have Black Panther characters in our history. And so when we speak of modern times, it's very important to understand the whole length and breadth of African history, not just within a 400-year period of kind of white colonialism.
When Marshall came out, obviously starred Chadwick Boseman, directed by Reggie Hudlin, and I did 3 of the screenings, and I kept talking about Marshall through a real life superhero prism. And so it sounds like what you're doing here is saying, okay, here you have this character, Black Panther, right, but we should be talking about it in terms of combining real life people, superheroes of African descent,
Yes,
so
indeed.
folks understand that we don't have to look to fictional characters for our heroes. We can look at real life individuals as our superheroes.
That's right. One character that we're utilizing at Trinity United Church of Christ, or say person, real life person, that we are saying is our real life Black Panther, is a person by the name of Robert Smalls. Robert Smalls is the person who, along with 6 other enslaved Africans, stole a Confederate warship and sailed it north, presented it to Abraham Lincoln. But the story does not stop there. He then became a captain in the Union Army. Story does not stop there. The entire South had a hit out on this man because they did not want other Black people to know about his ingenuity and his brilliance. The story doesn't stop there. He goes back to South Carolina, buys the plantation where he was a slave, allows the mistress, the widow of the slave owner, to live on the property, not in the big house, but on the property, and then starts 4 schools. But it doesn't stop there. He runs for Congress and wins and becomes one of the wealthiest individual in South Carolina. He is our modern day Black Panther. We need to know about the story of a Robert Smalls that in many ways has been written out of Southern history for fear that Black people in Reconstruction would want to be like Robert Smalls.
Well, it's the same reason why they dismembered the body of Nat Turner, because they did
Absolutely.
not want Nat Turner to be seen as a hero to Black people. And I think that, and again, every time we did one of these screenings about Marshall, I kept going back to that superhero thing over and over and over again, because frankly, I think it's easy for white America to have us be so excited about a fictional superhero
Hmm.
as opposed to somebody who actually walked this earth, because you see that in a whole different way.
Absolutely, without a doubt. The importance, I think, of Black Panther is, again, the expansion of the imagination, but behind the scenes. Everything from, Ruth Carter, who is a set designer, Ryan Coogler, who is a director, the idea that they're putting a new flavor. They're the heroes to me. To have a woman designing
Right.
an African world, this is powerful. To have a young African American director and a cast. Let's move beyond what's on the screen, but let's look behind the screen, because now, if this film is incredibly successful, it opens up doors, expands our imagination, and we can take the lid off the limitations that we place on ourselves because of self hate
But
about
also,
what our children can do.
But also, I think one thing that jumps out at me as well, and I've often talked about what happens behind the scenes in terms of those critically important jobs.
Hmm.
I think what it also will mean is that people begin to understand truly what Black Power is,
Yes,
because being in front of the camera is one thing, and that's great. So whether it's Chadwick, whether it's Michael B. Jordan, whether it's Lupita Nyong'o, whether it's all of those characters, now it's a different conversation when you're talking about, yes, director, costume designer, set designer, cinematographer.
that's right.
You can go down the line in the animation department as well. And so now all of a sudden we're saying, no, we can do those jobs. And then now you're talking about, oh, wait, but also these movie sets, you've got catering contracts, you've got
That's
limousine
correct.
contracts, transportation contracts, you've got so many different things beyond just, I want to be the person in front of the lens.
Absolutely. I had a wonderful experience, my wife and I were able to be on the set of the filming of The Shy that's on Showtime. That was produced by Common, and was talking with a young lady who had the contract for makeup. She's like, this is my first opportunity, but as a result of this, I will receive other contracts in the city of Chicago
Yep.
to do production, and I will hire other African American makeup artists. And so we're expanding our economic base. These are major jobs. When you get a contract on a show, when you get a contract
Mm-hmm.
on a major film, you put your foot in the door, but you also bring other people with you.
How about
And I
this?
think Black Panther allows us to do that.
How about this? So it was very interesting. So they asked people to wear African royalty attire to the screening. And I couldn't help but smile about that. I've got a whole closet of African attire. And it's interesting because if I wear that African attire to the CBC dinner, if I wear it to another, let's say, black tie event, folks are sort of like, what do you have on? And the point I'm making is I don't have to wear African attire to an African event.
Correct.
It's formal.
Correct.
And so what I'm saying is I don't have to conform to somebody else saying I have to wear a black tie, meaning a tuxedo. This is African attire.
Right.
So hopefully African Americans will say, wait a minute, I can wear that to the Golden Globes red carpet and not if Black Panther is nominated, just
That's
because.
Right. And I think that's a great point, Ron. What we did this Sunday and all this month we have at Trinity, we call the Myafa, where every Sunday we are celebrating and commemorating our ancestors. And immediately following every worship service, we had an African market. And in this African market, Black-owned businesses, African and African American, where you could purchase attire, where you could find someone to do some work on your house, but creating an African market where we are circulating our dollars in our community. And any church can do this. And so all month of February, Trinity is known for wearing African attire, but every single Sunday, we're wearing African attire. There are a variety of businesses that we are utilizing. We are circulating the dollar within our community. And when we have those high holy days, we don't dress like we're from the Church of England. We dress like we're people of African descent.
So last question here. This movie is gonna open big, it's gonna come out. Are you hopeful though that there will be a side education development where folks begin to embrace and say, wait a minute, you have this movie and people are going to be engrossed with the characters. They're going to be engrossed with the color and the artistry and of course all of the stunts and things like that. But also there really needs to be the other component of teaching people about these real African kingdoms beyond Shaka Zulu, beyond Cleopatra, correct, where folks begin to understand that what you're seeing on the big screen that is fictional, really the underpinning of that is real life. And let's learn about these real life kings and queens as well.
And we're planning on putting together a curriculum that can be used in churches, community groups, schools, however you choose to, that will lift up one of the greatest universities that the world has ever seen, the University of Timbuktu. It will have the opportunity to lift up ancient Ethiopia, lift up Kemet or / Egypt. It will lift up Canaan land, which was populated and settled by people of African descent. It will lay out about Narmer and Menes, some call them Narmer, some call them Menes, who unified Upper and Lower Egypt. It will lay out about Thutmose III, who extended the African empire from Kenya all the way to what we call Iran and Iraq. It will lift up the first woman who controlled a world empire. I mean, we will lay out the ancient period, but also the modern period and how you can circulate your dollars for true Black power.
All right. Well, certainly look forward to that. Pastor Otis Moss, we appreciate it, man. Thanks a bunch and good luck with that curriculum.
Thank you, sir.
Reverend Otis Moss III. So let's talk about Black Panther. And so,
yes, sir.
Everybody's talking about Black Panther. Everybody's talking about it. Folks are excited. They are projecting it could generate anywhere from $100 to $140 million opening weekend. It will no doubt, if that's the My bad. Okay, my bad. So what happened was I had the microphone on mute while the Otis Moss deal was going. So what I was saying was, boy, I missed all this. First of all, I've got y'all got me, y'all got me. Okay, y'all can y'all hear me now? Y'all can hear me now. Y'all got it. Okay, so calm down. You should be able to hear me now. Okay, so I'm wearing. Y'all notice I'm wearing Grambling tracksuit. When I visited Grambling, they gave me a whole bunch of stuff, and so normally I wear my Texas A&M stuff, and so you see it right here. I got my Aggie stuff on, but I said, you know, want to go ahead and wear some of the HBCU paraphernalia they've given me. Can y'all still hear me now? Can y'all still hear me now? Okay, I'm looking on Facebook. Okay, y'all, thank you very much. All right, cool. So here's what I'm about to say. What I was saying was that again somewhere in the outfit. I got some bunch of the stuff from Lincoln, from Virginia State, some different gear, Alabama A&M. So I'll be wearing more of this stuff on our live stream. So I was talking about the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and let me get into some of that. So the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Over the weekend, they elected Ray Lewis, Randy Moss, as well as Brian Urlacher on first ballot. Then, of course, they also had Bobby Beathard, Jerry Kramer, Terrell Owens, Brian Dawkins, as well as Robert Brazile. Now, I'm so happy when Robert Brazile was elected. I grew up a Houston Oilers fan. Robert Brazile was LT before LT. Nickname was Dr. Doom. Unfortunately, he didn't have a lot of the sack stats because they didn't keep those records for until really later in his career. And so I've got to go get me a number 52 Houston Oilers jersey to honor Robert Brazile. And again, this is a brother who I grew up watching, a phenomenal player out of Alabama. And so I wanted to show him some love. But I want to talk about Terrell Owens. I want to talk about that. Also, got to give a shout out to Brazile, Jackson State. And so another HBCU graduate who gets into the Hall of Fame. So I want to just talk a little bit about Terrell Owens. See, here's what I find to be interesting. Y'all need to understand how media works. Okay? And y'all need to understand that ain't that many of us in the press boxes. I want y'all to understand that. See, you want to understand who's determining this stuff in media? I want you to watch the NFL Network. And I want you to watch them when they have these, top 10 running backs, top 10 plays, whatever. I want you to see who's interviewed. Who are the sports writers? Who are the radio talk show hosts? Who are the TV hosts? You don't see that many of us. And I'm saying that because ain't that many of us voting on the Hall of Fame. And so Owens gets elected in his third year. And so a lot of people like, oh my God, he was selfish, his attitude, all this sort of stuff like that. But I want y'all to factor this in. Terrell Owens was never arrested for DUI. Terrell Owens was never arrested for beating his girlfriend. Terrell Owens was never arrested for murder. Ray Lewis was. Terrell Owens never got in trouble. But they held Terrell Owens out of the Hall of Fame for 2 years. We ain't like his attitude. If you sit down, and I've already done it, if you sit down and compare the stats of Randy Moss and the stats of Terrell Owens, nearly identical. Nearly identical. Now, I know somebody is saying, Roland, this ain't no big deal because he got in. No, but y'all don't understand something. Y'all don't understand the game they're playing. So let me go stats. Terrell Owens played in 219. I'm going to go over here. Let me do this here. Let me do this here first. I'm sorry. I'm going to do this here. Career stats of Randy Moss. Hold on. I wasn't going to do this. But dadgummit. Got this new computer and it's real sensitive. It's like very sensitive. Okay. So I'm going to flip between the windows. Terrell Owens played in 219 games. Randy Moss played in 218 games. Terrell Owens' average yards per game was 165. Randy Moss's was 161. Terrell Owens had 1,078 career receptions. Randy Moss had 982. Terrell Owens, 15,934 career receiving yards. Randy Moss, 15,292. Yards per reception, Terrell Owens, 14.8. Randy Moss, 15.6. Touchdowns, Terrell Owens, 153 touchdowns. Randy Moss, 156 touchdowns. Nearly identical. Terrell Owens was deemed a troublemaker, locker room cancer, selfish player. But the numbers show he performed. He performed. Never arrested. Didn't do drugs. Didn't get, y'all, Terrell Owens didn't get picked up by the cops. No off the field issues. Why am I saying this? It's because, see, the goalposts keep getting moved. Now, see, let me tell y'all one of the reasons why they will find Randy Moss. Because, see, Randy Moss went into media. See, before ESPN, Randy Moss was on Fox Sports. And so these media folks is like, well, Randy's one of us. I remember the stories. Randy takes plays off. Randy doesn't finish routes. Randy was rude to folks in Minnesota. Oh, did y'all forget all those stories? I'm saying this because I need you to understand that part of the problem with this Hall of Fame stuff is that you have people who are deciding these things, who are impacting the lives and careers of people, who are doing it for selfish and mean reasons. And I'm sorry, I'm going to go ahead and say it. This is a fundamental problem when you largely have white sports writers who are determining who's good and who isn't. Yeah, I'm saying this, y'all, because we've seen this in baseball. See, they want you to conform. Well, he didn't talk to us much when he was playing. So, what the hell does that have to do with how you perform on the field? The Hall of Fame means, were you one of the greatest players to ever play pro football? That's it. They can come with this BS about a moral clause and character. Okay? Well, if that's the case, explain to me how Ray Lewis got in. Oh, Ray Lewis, the greatest middle linebacker in pro football history. Yeah, but he was also up for murder. Play it to a lesser charge. Oh, so we overlook that. So we overlook that because of his play on the field, but then we mad at Terrell Owens because we say we don't like his attitude. I just need y'all to understand the game here. I need y'all to understand what happens when somebody else is making a decision. They are impacting a person's livelihood. Because see, here's the deal. Once you get in the Hall of Fame, yo, you can sign for more money and autographs. You can get more endorsements. You get all kinds of different things because of that. Oh, yeah. The gold jacket makes a difference. The Hall of Fame ring makes a difference. The bust makes a difference. But Terrell Owens was kept out of the Hall of Fame for the last 2 years for spite. It was to spite him. It was for them to say, how dare you? We're going to make you wait. We're going to make you conform. We're going to make you essentially beg to get in. See, that's shameful. I'm sorry. I don't care what sports. There is no sports writer alive. There's no Hall of Fame balloter. None who can make a cogent argument to me as to why Randy Moss got in on the first ballot, why Ray Lewis got in on the first ballot and Randy Moss didn't. It's because they wanted to deny Randy Moss Terrell Owens, the honor of getting in on the first ballot. Because see, you could be in the Hall of Fame, but see, then you on a different level if you got in first ballot. See, some of y'all just missed that. They say everybody who gets in a Hall of Fame, they're equal. That ain't true. That ain't true. There are levels. See, you in the Hall of Fame if the Veteran Committee voted you in, but they ain't the same when the regular panel voted you in. And you got in through the regular way, but they ain't the same when you were first ballot. See, first ballot is different. There are levels. They did not want Terrell Owens to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. They said, we ain't going to give you that. We ain't going to give you that. Because see, that goes down in history. Oh yeah, I keep telling y'all, there are levels. There's an even smaller group. Matter of fact, let me look it up. How many? Okay, watch this here. It's going to blow y'all away. How many members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame? Let me help y'all out. There are 310 members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Now the question I'm asking is, and I'm looking on here, how many first ballots? How many players elected to Pro Football Hall of Fame on the first ballot? Let's see if I can give you that. I told you there are 310. So let me see if I see it in this story here. Now you got to get 80% of the vote to get in. I'm looking on here, and the first story does not. Let me see here. Pro Football Hall of Fame inductees. I don't think it does not say. Doesn't indicate who was first ballot. But I can. So I'm looking on here. I can't see the number. Now see, Randy Moss became the first wide receiver elected first ballot since Jerry Rice. Y'all see that? He was the first wide receiver since Jerry Rice elected to the Hall of Fame. Again, those are honors. the people what they recognize. And so I just think it's amazing to me how we play this game, this unique game of wanting to judge people in a completely different way that has nothing to do with their talent. It has nothing to do with what they did on the field. I mean, so for instance, you could have been the most unbelievable. Let me tell you something. The people who have won the Walter Payton Award, unbelievable list of players. In fact, Walter Payton Award winners. And see, I'm not dissing anybody. I'm dissing no one. The Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award. J.J. Watt, Eli Manning, Larry Fitzgerald, Anquan Bolden, Thomas Davis, 2014. So Fitzgerald, I think probably in the Hall of Fame. Anquan Bolden, possibly. Thomas Davis, linebacker, nope. Charles Tillman, nope. Jason Witten, not sure. Matt Burke, center for the Baltimore Ravens. Madu Williams, safety for Minnesota Vikings. Brian Waters, guard for Kansas City Chiefs. Kurt Warner, he's in. Jason Taylor, Miami Dolphins, I think he's in. LaDainian Tomlinson, he's in. Drew Brees, he'll be in. Peyton Manning, Warwick Dunn. So I can go down the list. Troy Vincent won it. He's works for the NFL. He ain't in. Jerome Bettis, he's in. Here's my whole point. You can be an unbelievable person. You can be the salt of the earth for the NFL. Don't mean you're going to be in the Hall of Fame. You can be awesome. You can be great. I mean, you can just raise money, go visit all of the hospitals and all this sort of stuff like that. You can do all those things. Don't mean you're going to be in the Hall of Fame. Do you know why? Because Hall of Fame is about numbers. It's about performance. It's as simple as that. And they play these games. They play these games. And so I just think we need to acknowledge that, acknowledge the games that are being played by people who are voting. And let's just not be silly about this. And so I just want us to understand that. That's it for today. Tomorrow I'll be at Georgia State. Hopefully we'll be straight to live stream my speech. We'll have it all set up. So hope y'all can check that out. And then, of course, Wednesday I got to go to New York and to do some stuff. But then Thursday I'm gone for a week, vacation. Maui. Going to Hawaii. So then, of course, be celebrating wifey's 53rd birthday. Her birthday's on February 13th. So y'all make a note of that. We'll be celebrating that. So, all right, folks, I've got to go. Do me a favor. Of course, I want you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. So go to youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. We're trying to get to 200,000 subscribers on YouTube. We're about 1 million on Facebook. When we want to get to 200,000 on YouTube, then of course after 200,000, I want to get to 300,000. Also, go to RolandSMartin.com. Sign up for what's next. Of course, I'm going to be. I announced it last week, but I'm going to give you more details on the launch of the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Live Stream Show. So this here is just sort of just me doing it myself, and I'm doing doing one-on-one interviews via Skype. But no, I've got much bigger plans for the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Live Stream Show. And so I want you to sign up for that. And of course, follow me on Snapchat, at Twitter, as well as Instagram, all at Roland S. Martin. And you can, of course, follow me on Facebook as well. All right, folks, I got to go. Hope you enjoyed this. Be sure to, once we say this, be sure to share this as much as you can for folks to get the information as well, okay? Y'all have a fabulous day. I shall see y'all later. Enjoy the rest of the night.